Hi, this is Brennan Ferguson, a designer and writer.
And Dave Grossman, lead designer/writer.
And Dave Bogan, art director.
And Kim Lyons, environment artist.
And Emily Morganti, marketing.
So here we have the mole, the mob, and the meatball.
And it's purple.
It's playful.
And it's, more importantly, it's not yellow.
Yes, we had originally planned to go through the colors of the rainbow on the 6 opening sequences, but we got as far as orange, and people started posting on the forums saying, hey, what's the next color going to be? And they started associating the rainbows with Hue Bliss, which was exactly what we didn't want them to do yet anyway. We wanted to sort of keep that a secret for a little while. So we, as an emergency last-second measure, changed this one to purple.
Yeah, even though it works more nicely as a package for a full season to have each episode have a color of the rainbow and have that to tie in with Hue Bliss, being forced to change midstream actually kind of opened up possibilities with a couple of the other episodes, and that worked out really nice for us.
Sam and Max never do anything in the right order anyway.
That's true.
But he said to stop carving them into the suspects. He can't read them without his bifocals.
So this episode we had Jeff Lester again doing contract writing, and he wrote a lot of fantastically funny dialogue.
The cutthroat killers with no respect for human life but an odd predilection for delightful children's toys?
The same.
I love those guys!
Yeah, the line that's coming up about does the carpet match the drapes? The first time I played it, it was like, I can't believe they just said that. And there's actually a point when Kevin was playing it for the first time right before it came out, and kind of fast-forwarded through the beginning. Then he goes into Bosco's, and dum-dum, and he talks to Bosco. Why did they just ask Bosco if the carpet matches the drapes?
I think in general, this Sam and Max series has been a little bit more edgier than probably any other game that I've worked on in terms of, dialogue and content. Not speaking about violence or anything, but just the writing. And it's actually really refreshing. Usually larger studios will hold you back and not let you do certain things because they want to get that G rating or whatever it is.
Writing for these, you have to
for
kind of
everyone.
pretend that you're Steve Purcell and imagine what he would do and or say, and it's actually a fun
E for
place to put
not
your head.
funny. But yeah, so we've been really, really happy with what we've been able to do here, and a couple of times the boundaries have been pushed, and I was feeling a little nervous, but overall you play back through it, and it's all funny stuff, and it's worth it. I'm glad we can do that at Telltale.
These guys in the bear heads caused a temporary rift between me and the sound guys because
I don't think it's temporary.
they wanted to
Permanent hatred.
Those sound guys.
They wanted to process the voices of the characters who were wearing the bear heads, which is basically everybody new that you talk to except for that one guy over the corner. So that they would sound like they were muffled coming from in the middle of something, and it just sounded too muffled to be pleasant, and even doing it just a little bit. So I didn't let them do it, and they hounded me about it for the next 3 episodes.
Nice.
Where's the dawn?
Just be glad you don't have to go into the voice recording sessions where it gets brought up every time I sit next to Julian.
But really, we actually like each other. I don't want to give the...
There's a nice little detail in there behind the Whack-A-Rat machine is a fresh flower ashtray with cigarette butts sticking out of it. And again, it's very refreshing to have a game that you can have, someone smoking a cigarette or a dirty ashtray or a bottle of booze up on a shelf somewhere and not have someone standing over your neck,
Yeah, we just want to
Telling me
make
not to
games
do
that
it.
look more like our offices, so. Passion.
Absolutely.
How'd you get them then? By cheating?
Look, Rabbit.
Well, these environments I think were a little funner because I think on this episode we started having more movable items in the episode. Like this one has the toy train, and I think in the factory had the movable arm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
that's right.
it started kind of...
And the balloons.
And the balloons
Yes.
that you don't see.
Yeah,
It
there's
took
a lot
us to the
this
third
we don't see.
episode.
And the
To figure
singing...
that out.
Who could forget the singing bear heads on the wall?
Yes.
What's Singing Bear Heads?
Those
hey,
ones.
I can
That's my favorite song, I think, from the series. That one. The war song gets a lot of press from the subsequent episode, but because it's a major production. But the Singing Bearheads were the ones that made me the happiest.
I think most of the fans like this song, the bear song, better than the war song, just lyric-wise.
Wow. That's a hard one to beat, the war song for me.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's a weird phenomenon that happens. Every time Jared writes music for any of the games that we do, we're constantly hearing people sing it or play it or have it on their ringtones on their phones. And actually, every time I hear Sam and Max's office music now, I think my phone's ringing. So he's moved worlds, Jared, with his tunes, which is nice.
Some alone time right now.
Yeah, let's go see.
That guy Leonard there, by the way, is a character from Telltale Texas Hold'em, sort of repurposed.
Right. He
Boris-
played, Boris Crinkle.
Crinkle.
Leonard Steak Charmer was actually my proposed name for that character in Telltale Texas Hold'em, but Dan was quite in love with Boris Crinkle, so I got my way in the end by just bringing it back into this episode.
Isn't there a line about it in Texas Hold'em? You look
Yeah,
at the Leonard
there's
Stick
a
Charmer.
line in Texas Hold'em, it's a mirroring line in this one.
Precisely.
Does this thing really work? Does this thing really work?
Of all the voice actors, I think I'm probably partial to the voice of the bug here. I don't know, it just brings something to the role that just makes me see all of humanity, or bug, entity, or whatever it is for bugs.
Very in character.
And what you're missing there is that is Brendan.
Yes, okay, fine. That is me.
Think you can handle it?
I was in Nam, boy. You don't want
It's very hard for me right now not to start going into the bug voice. Actually, that's one thing about the voice audition or the voice recording where as soon as I hear the other characters doing their voices, I want to imitate them for the whole rest of the day. So I go around talking like Hugh Bliss or Bosco all the time. Tally-ho, Joe!
move, maggot.
Sir, yes, sir.
Sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's scary.
Yes.
It's always a little of both.
Sweet mother of bleary-eyed gambling.
So this puzzle was originally going to be a lot more complicated.
Fun, but there's no prize.
Actually, the puzzle with the bug at the door was originally going to be a lot more complicated. We just saw it sort of crawling up the wall to go be next to the guy who was going to say the password. And originally the train that I think Kim mentioned a little while ago was wrapped up all in that puzzle. You had to give that guy at the door some pretzels so that he would order a drink, and it would come on the drink train from the kitchen, and then you were going to take the bug and put it on the train, and it was just like this enormously elaborate thing that you had to do just to get the bug to be near him, when it really just seemed like you ought to just be able to throw it. Cut all that out.
And that decision kind of opened up this nice opportunity to have the bug crawling up all these different surfaces and basically forced us to do like a little mini cutscene for the bug for each character, which ended up being really cinematic, I think. Seeing the bug crawl up the wall and end up on Sybil's desk in front of Sybil with a nice low camera shot. It was really cool looking.
Nothing but loiter around my store all day.
And also introduced our first film wipe technique into the games, which is cool.
Here's another example where we're always asking, oh, we'll just have a whole bank of monitors and you'll be able to see Sybil over the webcam and other environments and all this stuff. And somehow John Scrow and Dave Bogan managed to figure out how to do it. And I wipe my hands the whole matter.
Who cares?
We like to add in a lot of little background jokes and moments. In this scene, Chuckles is talking to the head honcho, and in the background you see Max eat the webcam that was in Sybil's. Not everybody notices it, but when they do, you're guaranteed a little laugh.
I can't look away from it. It's so distracting seeing his giant white head appear there.
Oh, what
at the
the Mafia
monitor.
guys are saying, because
Steve
You're
has
supposed to
actually
be
said
listening to the dialogue.
that's Steve's
Actually,
kid's
one-
favorite part. They play that over and over. They think it's hilarious.
One of the other things that I really like about this episode in particular is that the characters around Sam and Max's neighborhood are really wrapped up in the puzzles that are going on. Like you're trying to get into the toy mafia, and they have a bunch of tasks for you to do that actually directly involve your neighbors. You're supposed to kill Sybil. You're supposed to deliver stuff to Bosco's store. So it made it feel all kind of homey and cohesive.
Hi, jerkbag.
Trying to fence something hot, Leonard?
This was going to be a puzzle too. There was
A meatball sandwich?
a defeat Leonard while he's got the gun on you by navigating him over onto the loose board, and then you stomp on the loose board and knock him over. Cut. Gotta cut some puzzles or
Sounds
the game some puzzles.
Like an adventure game puzzle.
Yeah, it sounds a little too much like an adventure game puzzle, actually.
Okay, Leonard, are you gonna tell us where the sand?
There's that rope
Is that
again.
rope?
That's a different rope.
It's different
It's
color. I think,
partially the
this time.
same rope,
Bigger.
but we also have ankle ropes, which chain him to the desk, and we were getting a little tired of the rope at this point, so we needed some kind of at least some kind of addition to it.
I never get tired of the rope.
It's versatile.
We should just keep inventing ropes for new body parts.
It seemed like there was a lot more Yo Mama jokes in here before. We may have cut down at some point. And
We cut down just a couple of the setups for them.
Oh. But they're all funny. Funny.
Dan's always looking at stuff going on YouTube, and he's happy or excited when people post things from our games on YouTube. And like the day after this came out on GameTap, before most of our customers had even played it, there was a Yo Mama clip up on YouTube. That was a good day.
Yo Mama.
It's a good day when you're on YouTube.
Yes.
But it seems like the things that I'm always the least sure about whether they're going to work are the things that get the best response from the fans. So that should tell me something.
Anything to dishonor your dead mother.
Never even took the sand.
Well, actually, one little technical hiccup that we work with sometimes is when we make dialogues, we have to structure them in such a way that it could go on alternate paths. Like when Max, for example, gives his punchline for the Yo Mama joke. After that, it's supposed to transition to either Leonard saying, "What are you talking about? That makes no sense," or Leonard getting freaked out. But there's always a slight hitch before that. It can transition to that because it has to change the dialogue branch. And because of that, the timing of those scenes I can never get it to be exactly the way I want. I always wanted Leonard to start screaming instantly as soon as it.
You have done what we have asked of you. Acts of intelligence, malevolence, and
That's a lot of heads.
welcome you into the ranks of the Orso Nostra.
We cast the character of Don Teddy Bear / Harry Mole Man based mainly on his ability to switch between the two voices that he has to do in mid-line.
Two very different voices.
And then he doesn't, in the final version of the script, he doesn't actually even do that.
Holy fat-free carp on a skewer. You're a mole. In fact, you must be the one we... Does the carpet match the drapes?
I think Harry's my favorite voice that we've kind of run across so far. As next to the bug, of course.
Right.
That bug.
It's interesting. There's a painting on the wall up to the left. Let me see if we can see it again here somewhere. It's a painting one of the environment artists did, and I think it's actually a guard tower of San Quentin.
Yeah.
I don't know if it ever made it into the game.
Yeah, it's
you can
back
see
there,
it
yeah.
up there on the left. But it was really funny.
Sam, I couldn't help but notice that a number of bloodthirsty gangsters are right on our tail.
Eat lead, coppers.
Yes, I saw that.
What's worse, they've got those new bulletproof tires from Prime.
That's another one of these great moments of exposition where we just want to make it clear that you cannot shoot their tires.
Right, we keep painting ourselves into corners because we make a puzzle solution in one episode and then say, okay, well, we want to do something different now, but
We don't want the
we don't have any good reason why we can't just keep doing the same thing forever. So we just make up lies.
As long as that is telegraphed to the player, though, they should be able to understand that right away and,
Right.
get
So
over it.
that's our entire cutscene. Is telegraph.
I think this is my favorite collaboration of music and environment together yet that I've seen in the game. The score for this environment was actually timed to go with all the, or vice versa. The animation for the environment was timed to go with the musical score for this environment. And it's just got a really great kind of Raymond Scott feel.
This character of Harry Mole Man here was actually one that we had this idea that we wanted to have the mole be an actual mole, and once we had that drawing of Harry Mole Man up in episode 1 out by the Child Star thing, we figured, yeah, he's the guy. He's the mole that we're looking for. But then we realized after we had written the script that we never had a moment at which we declare that his name is Harry Moleman. We never really said that. And so there were actually a few references to Harry here and there that we had to edit out because they didn't make sense without that little bit of exposition. But fortunately, later in the series, we got the chance to finally find out his real name.
This is one of the greatest scenes in the whole season.
Very well written by Jeff Lester.
I just love how this episode ends. The whole part from driving up till this, up through the end, is just so epic.
Yeah, this is one when we finish the designs of the episode, we'll go over them with the leads of the team and talk about what's happening. This is one I enjoyed even acting out what was going to happen as I staggered around saying Max in his last moments.
Harry and Sam are getting kind of fed up with Max here. And I think even Lauren, one of our animators who worked on this scene, was getting ready to strangle Max at the end of this cutscene.
I actually had a comment from someone in the press who wrote in to say, whoever did that last Harry Moleman was good job.
Again, we can make use of some good cartoon classic things, the gauge going up. Sometimes we actually do look for ways to just kind of iconically or quickly give you the idea of something without having to have a lot of boring exposition, like I'm doing right now, for example. Just quick ways so you can see, aha, pressure builds up in this thing.
Good. Now I'm off to see what Ryan...
Good old Fred
I
Bassett.
don't think anybody even knows who Fred Bassett is.
We all had to look that one up.
Max, you keep playing dead. I'll figure out some way to bring Teddy Bear and his factory to their respective
I'm dead.
There goes nothing.
Yeah, this is one of the parts that for some reason I was really stuck on. I said, no, Teddy Bear must get clogged in the works. That's just the way it has to end. It's the fitting end. He's so fat.
Pleasantly plump.
Oh, if it is just a big suit, one wonders why he doesn't just get out of
Poison's
it.
climb out.
Not too bright.
He's strapped in.
On the art end, we try and make a conscious effort to make each environment unique, not only in what objects and scenery you're seeing, but the color palette for them as well. Mm-hmm. This is a good example of an environment that you'll see the base colors and the mood and the feel of this room feels different from any others.
That's excellent.
It's so
Very
great.
simple.
That one scene cost us $25 million.
Well worth it.
Actually, it was probably about an hour of John Scro's time.
Breaking the bank.
And the sidewalk, and the water main, and the buffet table.
You're really broken up about that buffet table, aren't you, Max?
It was the only innocent in this whole affair.
We always end on food somehow.
Yeah. And that wasn't on purpose?
I'm not saying it wasn't a purpose.
Well, at the end of the day, when we're writing, we're all getting kind of hungry. So you just kind of gravitate towards the things that we want to eat, like weasel bars or whatever. I forget what he says right there.
Mm-hmm.
The other big hurdle for this entire last cutscene sequence was the fact that the toy factory was supposed to explode. And that's something we tend to avoid in our short production schedules.
Do not have factories explode.
We're pretty light on effects, and that ends that one, I guess.
But we did it.
I'm Randy Tudor. I was the lead programmer on season 1 of Sam and Max.
Hi, I'm Tim Reardon. I'm animator, Sam and Max. And I'm Jeff Saar, and I'm also an animator on Sam and Max.
I'm Daniel Farjam Herrera, and I did rigging and choreography for many of the cutscenes and dialogues and such.
Hey, Randy!
So this is the purple episode.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And what do they do here in this one? The finger point?
Yeah. That's yours, Jeff, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think I might have done that one.
Those always go in at the last minute, cracks me up.
This is actually my first A cutscene.
This is nice.
Bouncing baby hernia.
Higher!
Yeah, I love that.
This was a fun one to do, definitely. I love that you know, the look on Sam when right before he throws him.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
And Max just being a baby.
Yeah.
Suspects. He can't read them without his bifocals.
It's a great line.
Forget that, Max. We're after the most infamous
cutscenes are the ones. The cutscenes are the ones that are animated, hand animated through Maya software.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the question. Oh, there's the thumb point.
Yeah.
The infamous thumb point.
Is there a point up?
Playland and Casino.
The slowest place on Earth? Oh boy!
Well, it's not going to be all laughs and
I'm surprised that this episode didn't get more notice because of all the crazy set design and freaky teddy bears.
Right.
Combination of Chuck E. Cheese and casino.
They're scary.
Yeah.
It was a great idea, though, the whole Chuck E. Cheese atmosphere, like you said.
There it is.
Yeah, there's a finger point.
My favorite was the 1850s style train that went all around the casino.
Yeah. There it is, freaky bears.
I love his deadpan delivery.
The gangsters.
Yeah.
I like how Leonard is just always challenging you to a card game. He's just ready for anyone.
welcome and go spend a lot of money. I hear you have a mole.
There's a lot of talk of what kind of hats each bear was going to be having. And
I'm actually being too subtle.
First time that's ever happened.
Leonard looks a little pissed off in the background. There he goes. He's moving.
Yeah.
Don Ted E. Bear says so they do.
Don Teddy Bear? I thought this place was mafia free.
That's right, kiddies. 100% mafia.
The ashtray. The flower petal ashtray in the background is great.
Is that like the standard thing for the mafioso? Enunciate every word so you know what's coming.
Well, and adding S's to everything, too.
What kind of business? Yeah, the kind of business that gets said like it's got quote marks around it.
That's where we're missing the...
Yeah, the quote marks.
gesture.
We should have done that for this. It would have been pretty funny. We're not winning.
That's going to be the new thumb point. The quote marks.
I love the way he talks. Friday. It's just like, who says Friday like that? Let it stick, Charmer.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to bring back any more poker players for season 2. We have to get Ted in a game somewhere.
It's not like it was that easy to just bring him in.
No, he didn't have legs.
I wasn't sure if we should reveal that, but yep, they had no legs, so pretty much a different model altogether.
This I thought was a really interesting puzzle.
Yeah, you had to notice
pretty
the
creative.
shape.
Yeah, it was.
And man, Marco and Pete both really agonized over this whole card thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you did too.
I wish we could have. I wish we would have had different cards and not the same 2 cards every time. That really bugs me, but otherwise it comes off pretty well.
Yeah. Well,
it was a lot of work. Yes.
Just getting those.
Just those 2.
Yeah.
The dog wins.
What? You cheated me. What How did we cheat?
Big Charmer.
Mama.
I love how it's very specifically written in the script that he has to mention his mom at least 3 times in everything he says.
Okay, Stinky Pants, here's your 10 million.
So what is Bosco? Is this French Bosco?
French Bosco, yeah.
There are 10 million of them.
Well, she promises that teddy bears can be cracked.
Oh, this is the whole bug thing. Originally, the bug.
That's great.
Well, that's actually Brendan's voice, but we didn't have lip sync for his pinchers, So Marker and I had to
One by hand.
That's Brendan talking?
This guy, yeah.
Wow.
Bug.
I didn't know that.
So that's basically just the walk animation that he has. He basically had like this wiggle and pincher animation, and we just had to turn it on and off basically for every single time he talked. And then for episode 4, we were just like, okay, we need to do lip sync for this guy because
The bug is just a major headache in general because he's speaking other people's lines. There were always problems with the language resources matching up, and
right, showing the right icon and all that stuff.
My favorite is that his butt is lip synced with his dialogue.
It's great.
That was just part of the picture animation. It comes with it.
This looks nice though. I like that. A little
this did turn out really nice,
wall.
and I thought we were going to have a lot of trouble with it.
Oh yeah, the time time fade wipe or whatever.
Mother of bleary-eyed gambling addiction. We won.
Yeah, we won, but there's no prize.
You gotta hand it to Teddy Bear.
Originally with the bug wipe, our plan was to have a shot of the tiger clock flying by.
I remember that.
And it was just
went
like
through one permutation.
It was like 30 seconds every single time.
What is that?
My second favorite delusional paranoid.
Oh no! Oh no!
This part cracks me up.
Yeah, that was actually that was hand blocked.
Going through the floor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Surrender.
Yeah, it's one of the fun things of doing choreography. Like that part wasn't in the script, but it was just like, you have to have Bosco just like totally cowering.
Absolutely.
This case we're so incredibly busy with.
Oh yeah, you're real busy. You done nothing but loiter around my store all day.
What can we say? We love to loiter.
Ooh.
Excellent. Nice and messy.
How many
Was yours,
frames
right,
was
Tim?
that there?
Yeah.
That little trick with the TV is like 3 frames of.
Actors,
right.
I didn't get to animate her with the blood or ketchup on her. I just had to imagine it all as it went down.
Yeah, that was another one of these attachment hassles.
Yeah.
Because she could be grabbing the cup and she could be holding it.
Oh,
and the cup
that's right.
explodes and then
That's
it
right.
disappears. It was-
I remember you came to me, Randy, and you said, "How's this gonna happen?" I said, "I don't know."
I don't know.
That's a Dave Bogan question.
It's always a problem when a character is doing something in their idle animation that you have to interrupt. Just
Right.
picking that cup up and down is just a nightmare.
And somehow she's all clean.
Right.
Was the pencil in her hand the whole time too? It looked like the pencil just appeared all the time.
I think it was implied that Max ate them and licked the ketchup clean.
I'll show you the money. I will, I tell you. Just show me the money. You too.
I think Pete put all this together, right? This scene here?
Yeah, he agonized over this
Yeah.
quite a bit, too.
Yeah.
But originally we just had like standard gestures for him, but Pete wanted him to be angry and sad, and
Right.
because of the Yo Mama part. And
Right.
Always a cheat, eh, Leonard? What? No. Sick and Leonard.
And there's also this, which is
Like
like,
this.
Right.
it turned out so
That's
great.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's like great use of resources. 'Cause
And now he's just totally tied up.
Yeah.
That's great.
there's the quintessential Telltale rope sack.
the rope sack.
Yeah.
It's great. It seems like the things we agonize over the most end up paying off the best,
Yeah.
when you get right down to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes we come up with these great creative solutions that end up being funnier than actually just showing like the beat up scene or something.
He's got the feet rope bags on as well.
Those are new.
Yeah.
Handcrafted.
Yes, we try to innovate every episode.
What the heck? Leonard, Yo Mama's so fat. She's so fat. Curdled goat's milk on a warm summer day. Punchlines.
That's funny. I remember all the punchlines, but I can never remember the setups.
Well, then
It takes a special kind of wordsmith to come up with a good one of these Steve Purcell, like Colonel Goat's Milk or whatever.
the sandwiches, just leave my mama alone.
Of course, Leonard. We would never do anything to dishonor your dead mother.
He never even took the sandwich out of the
He's so red.
Yeah, there's a lot of reliance on colors and puzzle solutions. There's Bernie too, and he was like, me. Like, it just doesn't read, and we're like, well, make him pink.
Hey, there it is. It's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
His cap gun to notice that extra.
Get back to the casino. Win back that sandwich.
See you around, sucker.
Hello?
Gonna throw him in the closet instead.
Yeah.
Anybody?
I'm not even committed to that joke because there's nothing funnier than seeing Leonard. Here's another Pete cutscene.
We welcome you into the ranks of the Orso Nostra.
Need.
My stuff runneth over.
Orso Nostra. Anybody know what that reference means?
That poster of San Quentin was a last-minute addition. I just put that in there.
It's
San Quentin.
Yeah.
Our
That's
home away
great.
from home.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. What's that guy's name? Sean Williams? Vicini from Princess Bride. That's the sort of sound like that we had for this guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wallace Shawn.
That's it.
What did I say? Sean Wallace? Sean Williams? Oh, I apologize. Not that he would be listening, but
You never know.
but he does have an inconceivable moment. That,
On his own meatball sandwich back in '65.
Yes, good point. Should we run now?
Perhaps so.
That's such a Brendan joke. Good point. Yeah, good point.
this is probably one of the few episodes that we actually have a choreographed driving scene. And
Which are always a nightmare to do, too.
Yeah. They're
Didn't you do some of this animation
Yeah,
Jeff, for the mob?
I didn't do that, which would have been fun, but
I did the idol of them kind of shooting out the windows, and
that gun thing is such a typical thing where somehow the gun tech didn't put it in or didn't get run or something, but we thought it was actually pretty cool for him to be driving with the gun in his hand, so we left it in.
we get the singing bearheads in this one, or
I guess not.
Yeah, they're in the casino.
oh, they're in this episode. Yeah,
There it is.
Did you get sued for that, or
But again, like this environment is so complex and amazing.
it is.
And
Brian's
I thought this
Brian.
episode was just gonna make people go crazy, but I don't know.
I mean, sparks. We have sparks in this episode from the machinery.
Oh yeah, that originally we had Brendan had planned to have everyone sort of far away, and he would just sort of hypnotize them from far away. But the way that sometimes the cutscenes work out, characters have to be blocked a little closer together. So the putting the teddy bear in Sam's face, which is kind of an accident.
But it's funnier that way, I think.
And Brendan just said, like, this is actually funnier. Let's just
Put
keep
away
it
from his face.
I love the way he's like, look at it, look at the bear.
And if we couldn't make the teddy bears any creepier, they're without faces. It's just
We wanted to make it so you could actually push buttons and change the pattern on the bears, and if their heads and their bodies would be different and all this different. Well, ran out of time.
Right.
Didn't happen.
Here's the Hamlet-esque
Yeah, this came out really nice.
speech.
yeah. So how many pop culture references there?
Yeah.
That's great.
Video games, in which case heroes die a lot too. So good night, fresh prince.
It's like 4 references, I think.
I think there's...
love Max's expression there.
Yeah.
It's just. I don't know if he's pretending to be dead or what. But.
I love that splat. And just.
We had a lot of trouble getting him to stay in his spot on the ground. I don't know why. He kept popping around.
While I read the paper. Just get the hypnobears sorted for delivery. You can take them around later.
Yes.
Every episode I have to look something up, and this one it was Fred Bassett.
Who is Fred Bassett?
I can't hear you. I'm dead.
He made a bunch of Kathy jokes too about the comics. I think those got
I
cut.
don't care if she is married. She's still spoken out. He was also reading Zazzle and Fib, which makes an appearance in episode 6. The comedy duo of Snake and Cat.
Snake and cat. What an apt duo the snake and cat is.
We have characters running around a lot in this episode, so this is I took the cutscene run cycle or the cutscene running away and made it into a cycle.
Yeah, it got propagated quite a few
Is that
places.
what that is?
Yeah,
It's still
that
That one right there.
That's right there. And then doing it again.
Tim's big scene.
Yeah.
It was actually hand animated in slow motion too.
All right.
Right there,
I love
that's
that shot.
me and Jeff kind of figured out how to stretch things around and got some good stuff out of that.
Yeah, it turned out really nice. Nicely.
I love the dialogue in this part.
This was. How many frames was this one again? This was.
It was a lot.
Couple thousand.
This was also problematic because we didn't want the load in between the factory
right.
And this scene here, so we actually combined them together. There's a lot of geometry in here.
Did it end up being a huge mega chore, or were there 2 chores loaded up?
I think they're actually 2 different ones.
All right.
Plan B.
Yeah, that was Jeff's little part.
Yeah.
And there's episode 3.
Episode 3, Salmon Max, The Mob, the Mole, and the Meatball. And this is the Bay Area sound commentary, audio commentary. I'm Jared Emerson Johnson. I did the music, sound, and voice directing.
And Julian Kwasniewski, and I did voice directing and sound, although not as much sound on this one.
Randy Tudor.
Randy Tudor, the unsung hero.
He is so unsung, except by me. Randy! He has saved the audio in the 11th hour more times than I can count. The Mole, the Mob, and the Meatball. This is one of my favorite fun little cutscene tunes. The 5 seconds of circus music got to do. All these scenes are always fun to score for sound because there's always a lot of surprising impacts and things.
Yes, but he said to stop carving them into the suspects. He can't read them without his bifocals.
What if I just write bigger?
Forget that, Max. We're after the most infamous organized crime outfit in the city, the Troy Mafia.
The cutthroat killers with no respect for human life?
I had a lot of fun, especially with the in-game music for this particular episode because the way that the mafia was characterized and the way that the casino and everything looked, it really, to me, had a very specific aesthetic that I tried to reflect in the music, and it's all in that sort of earlier, more 30s and 40s style kind of American jazz standard, thing that we all associate with the mafia genre.
Our job is to make contact with the mole and see if he needs help.
Is he a large star-shaped?
And then, of course, the backroom music is an homage to Nino Rota's score to The Godfather, which is one of the all-time great scores, and gave me an excuse to bust out my mandolin and play it a little bit, which was fun. I hadn't done that for a project since the Bone games, so.
Sounds great. Let's do this.
It sure beats working.
It sure does. Welcome. These
The
bear
bear
heads. So
heads.
we're gonna have to talk a little bit about the bear heads.
Yeah.
Our first thought, of course, when we saw the design of the bear heads was, well, and this will be great. We'll have this awesome processing on them to make it sound like they're deep, deep within the heads, and it will just be so cool. And it'll be that sound that you would have if someone was wearing an
like
awesome bear
Steve
head.
asked for.
And so, exactly. It was on the original document that Steve made to describe them. Said and process the voices.
Sorry, Dave. Here it comes.
And so here it comes, Dave. So we presented this idea to Dave Grossman and Brendan, and Dave just completely shot it down, like
just
completely.
Unequivocally.
And we
nope.
And we kind of like with our tail between our legs, we're like, well, okay, we'll do it. And then we thought about it, and we're like, we gotta just do it. We gotta do it. We gotta hold our audio torch and we'll show it to him, and he'll just be totally blown away and impressed, and he'll love it, and then it'll be in there, and it'll be awesome. And we did it, and we showed it to him, and we actually did, I think, like 6 different versions of it, of different intensity.
No,
and
I don't like it. I don't like it.
He hated it all, and so we kind of just bit the bullet and said, well,
we had
okay,
a contract out on him, but then we decided to cancel it just because he's a good guy.
And we'll just do whatever you want. Then the game shipped, and in some of the reviews, and kind of all over the place. But one was like, it was great, but those bear heads didn't have any processing.
Yeah, it should have.
It just was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like they were right there.
And so we've been rubbing it in his face.
So let the record be shown that
shamelessly ever since then. We love Dave.
But I went ahead and processed him for the trailer.
Right. Yeah.
So the truth is out. Feels good to have that off my chest.
In the end, of course, it doesn't actually matter, and it's fine. But it's something we very, very much like to tease Dave about, because
it's one of the funny moments of game design.
Audio guys against the non-audio guy. The audio guys never win in those.
No,
situations.
we never win. By the way, yeah, we do the work and we never win.
We never win.
And our credit is after the caterer, but that's we signed up for that. So, although the music gets a nice front end credit.
So that dealer there that's my Sam and Max voice acting debut, and for this I voice a couple of the other characters too, which is very fun, and I've always liked acting. So
yeah, what we would do is when the script, we'd be all done with the sessions, and then there'd be a handful of characters where it's like 4 lines and 8 lines, and actually some of the dealer had a lot more.
Dealer had
than
a fair amount, but
so yeah, we took the opportunity wherever possible, just because it's got to get done, and it's fun.
It's fun, and we can do it. Want to play cards? Leonard Steak Charmer. For fans of the Telltale Texas Hold'em game, they'll recognize him.
Yep.
Yeah, let's go see if we can play Whack-the-Rats.
And Whack-the-Rats, of course, a fabulous throwback to Hit the Road with the Whack-a-Rat game in the carnival there. And Joey came and just did such a hilarious job with all these different little accents, and not just doing the accents, but doing the accents in the Bosco voice and characterization is very funny, and just how horrible he is at doing the French accent. I mean, Joey can do it fine, but Bosco trying to do French is a painful experience.
And the way we had the script sorted, it was, every other line was a different accent, so we had to do an 11th hour resort, and things were out of chronological order, but he was able to stay in the zone.
It all worked out. And the bug is the second experience or second appearance of Brendan Ferguson.
And he's perfect.
He is so perfect as this.
We're always trying to get him on Mike
bug.
more, and he just doesn't want to do it, but he's great.
Brendan is a very talented guy, and he's actually always voice acting. When you talk to him, he's always doing voices and stuff.
Yeah,
and
his line reads are great.
It's very funny.
Say it like this.
And even when you're not in the voice booth or in the studio with him, he'll just having a conversation. He's always doing voices and having fun, and you can really he really hears it in his head when he's rating. You can tell, and it's
I am a bug.
It adds so much. I am a bug. And this is the just little bug theme, just a little.
And Brendan, he was in favor of the processing on the heads, as I
recall. Brendan was, yes, very
Hi,
interesting.
Dave.
Interesting choice, Brendan Ferguson. Chuckles there coming out of the thing.
Yeah.
That is the Vegas trip.
Yeah.
has a very awesome mohawk, or at least did when he was recording this.
So it's true. He is Toy Mafia.
I hope we don't lose Bosco's friendship over this.
It's amazing that they haven't lost Bosco's friendship yet after all the stuff that Sam and Max have done to him. I assume it's only because they keep paying him so much cash every month or so as the episodes come along. I haven't actually added up the total dollar amount of what Sam and Max have paid him over the course of the season, but it's got to be at least several $billion. Can't quite remember. It's a lot. It definitely keeps going up. Those teddy bears are so scary looking. Props to Dave Bogan and Steve Purcell, who I know they both collaborated on the look of those bears. It's just very scary.
What can we say? We love to
Who doesn't? I love this. This is the that sort of Nino Rota style music here. Whenever anything mafia-esque is happening, it's got that. You got some accordion, you got some mandolin, maybe a little violin in there.
All due respect, Don. Who cares? Now that she's whacked, we don't need to keep watching her, do we?
I suppose so. Give me a pretzel, Chuckles.
I love the teddy bear voice. There was only, I think, 6 lines of his actual voice, but it was just so perfect. It was similar enough in spirit to Marlon Brando, but very very unique and not a ripoff at all. And I was sad that there wasn't more for him, but those 6 lines are incredible.
Another fun fact to add to the crime-fighting arsenal.
And Sybil's okay, ladies and gentlemen. You'd think, though, that, shooting a mug directly in front of someone, there would at least be some, like, ceramic fragments in their chest or something. But I guess she's okay. And this little quick walking bass thing, yeah, this is some Jimmy music, and it's got a little homage to the Whack-A-Rat music from Hit the Road in there. The bam 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 ba da la ba ba. That's I tried to, whenever I could, and only in places where it really made sense and fit, but I tried to throw a few little tidbits of that great score in there because it was so iconic, and Clinton, Pete, and Mike did such a good job defining Sam and Max's musical sound for the first time, and obviously I was doing a new thing here, and Telltale was taking it in a bit of a new direction, but anywhere that I could, I tried to sneak in some of those little recognizable motifs just to sort of glue it all together. Uh-oh. One of the cheaper cutscene scoring things I did, a little organ that comes in there for 2 seconds. But what can you do? She is a saint, after all.
Yeah.
Neither. I say we hit this cheating slime receptacle where it hurts the most. Right in the mother.
You mean?
That's right, Max.
I liked this dialogue puzzle. I thought it was a fun and ingenious sort of piece of game design to have them have to complete the jokes. This is what makes adventure games so unique.
I know, it's refreshing to see adventure games.
It seems like it's been a while.
It has been.
It has. And they're definitely coming back. It seems like a lot of people are coming back home.
Of course, Leonard. We would never do anything to dishonor your dead mother.
He gets so red. It's so creepy.
I know, it's great.
It's just like, oh my God. Is he okay?
Which brings us to the next question. Where's the arm? I got it right here.
Thanks, jerkbag.
How did you not notice that before?
I was too busy taking his cap gun to notice that extra arm.
We'd best get back to the casino and win back that sandwich.
Episode 3 had about, I would say, at least 2 times as many cutscenes as 1 and 2 did. Just
the
just
A and the
that
B
way.
cutscenes, they
the
piled up.
The A and B priority cutscenes, they really piled up for this one, and it was fun to have a chance to go so crazy with the music. It's a lot of music. If you add it all up over the course of the whole season, looking at it as one sort of master game divided into 6 chunks, the amount of music in game and cutscene it's got. I mean,
wasn't it 180 minutes?
It's over 3 hours. Yeah, it's probably closer to 200. Which
Wow.
I mean, if you look at your average 40-hour game, console game, or I mean, most games aren't even that long. Honestly, it's more. Most of them tend to be more around 20, and it's pretty standard to have 70 to 90 minutes of music. I would say, cutscene and in-game together. And a lot of the time for console games, the cutscene music will be edited from the in-game loops or somewhere like that. So the actual quantity of music is incredible, and I'm pleased to announce now. I suppose I can do it on this commentary, even though it's
you can.
not announced yet, but it will be by the time this comes out. There's going to be a very large double disc soundtrack that's coming out, and I'm very happy that worked out. And if you enjoy the music, it's going to be a really cool thing because all the tunes, cutscene and in-game stuff are going to be included. Well, not all of them, but the best of the cutscenes and all of the in-game stuff will be included and all remastered for the soundtrack, and
with alternate endings and things
it's all
presented musically.
It's all good. And all those in-game loops. One of the things that I loved about Sam & Max and about Telltale is that because it's a PC title, and because of the way their tool handles it, there's no arbitrary limitation or streaming limitation for the music. So it can handle loops that are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes long. So some of these pieces of music are really long, and it's something that you'd actually want to pop in the CD player. I would hope. I would want to pop it in
for
the
your
CD player
next
and
dinner
listen,
party.
and listen because
it's
it's not just 30-second loops.
Exactly.
I had a chance to actually write.
The music was definitely a highlight of the
Larger.
project. It's just and the live sessions, bringing in live players, and
yeah, those guys that we've been bringing in, Jordan Wardlaw and Mike Whitwell and Jesse Wickman and Dale Guttridge on the first episode, they just brought so much to these scores, and as the project went along and getting to know them better and knowing their styles, and it really became a big collaboration.
And also just the fact that these episodes were pretty furious crunch modes for us, and
about as furious as it gets.
Yeah, and people have likened it to producing a TV show, which neither of us have done, but it just seems like at any one time there was 17 things to do, and just the fact that the music got composed in the first place, let alone arranged so well and recorded and mixed so well, really is testament, to what you did, Jared, for sure. And but just the project that we were allowed to provide such a high quality audio soundtrack for essentially, a downloadable game, which is something that in the past, has audio quality has not been a huge drawing point, and also the level of music production and voice production, is basically unheard of. So it was really exciting for us.
Yeah, I've never had a project that was as free and unlimited in the music spec as this is. It just there was only one track ever that actually ended up being too long for the engine, and everything else it was always just accepted out of hand, even if it was a 5-minute loop, which I don't know any other games that are able to work that way. And Telltale really, I think, set the bar in a fun new way that it certainly works in the game's favor, but just being able to write complete pieces that have a beginning, middle, and end, and getting them in there for the background is really nice to not be restricted and limited to 90 seconds or 30 seconds or something. And this is my all this factory theme stuff. It's a lot of fun to write. He can't hear you. And of course, the Max death scene is one of my favorite little bits of cutscene music. Is just so silly and over the top and weirdly serious musically. Well, Max is freaking out.
Well, 'cause you know, 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 'cause you
all this Raymond Scott style.
Yeah, it really works with the scene.
And the background, I just love what Dave Bogan and the other artists were able to do to just show that whole back room and all that.
Yep.
I mean, if you look and if you pause it and look, there's like there's a huge factory back there doing all kinds of crazy
And
stuff.
it's all, things are going on back there.
It really, it was sort of I think the biggest set in a way, aside from maybe the street, up to this point in the season. It was very cool to see something so big, and that warning sound and this huge explosion, and that motion blur, very nice. Ouch.
Body
that
falls,
is just so
car
ridiculous.
falls.
Car fall, yeah. Those are the sound effects you live for. Car falling from sky. We need more shocks.
It was the only innocent in this whole affair, Sam. I mean, apart from the bystanders and their pets.
Buck up, little pal. Maybe the commissioner will take us out for a pungent meal at Squirrel Garden when we tell him
Squirrel
to correct the
Garden.
case.
Sam and Max work up an appetite after these cases. They always seem to be hungry.
Yeah.
For some reason, they're always going for that. And those little bear falls, those are sound effects that I'm proud of. They've got the little squeaky thing in there. Uh-oh, Chuckles.
Uh-oh.
This is Secret Agent Chuckles. The factory's been destroyed.
And I no longer need voice processing because I'm not wearing the bear head.
Not anymore. Plan B. But what could that be?
Find out
in episode 4.